regular opening. You ready, Ron?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is Carrie Rydell. I am with RingsideReport.com, the Heart of Boxing, and I am here today interviewing young Joe Louis. Welcome. It is a pleasure and an honor to meet you and his beautiful wife, Vanessa. So Joe, tell me, first off, I have to ask, how did you get the nickname? Because Eddie Taylor is your real name.
Right. Well, I was with Noah Robinson. He owned the bread basket, so he was trying to figure out what boxing name. Cause when I came to Chicago, he was the first guy I went. I went to Windy City, and he was downstairs. He was the first guy I went to. I said, "Who see about boxing?" He's gonna take my car, see me, and I called him up. And then he gave me a job. I said, "Hey, it's all right." Then he came over, he said, "We got to go with your boxing name." He came over, I said, "Joe Louis." He said, "Then Fred," he said, "Joe Frazier." I said, "No," I said, "I come with Joe Louis because my style was
More like Joe,
yeah.
Joe Louis?
Yeah. And we take from there.
So he just said young Joe Louis?
Young Joe Louis.
I like that. I like that a lot. How old were you when you started boxing?
Well, I was, when I first started, I was 16. I was down, I was in Mississippi.
16 in Mississippi?
Yeah, I came to Chicago on my 18th birthday, and I think I met Noah about 20, no part of my 18th birthday, and I thought I turned pro right then.
You turned pro as soon as you came to Chicago?
I had about, I fought one Chicago Golden Gloves, and then I came out and went pro.
Wow. So when you were boxing in Mississippi, what made you decide to come to Chicago?
Well, my sisters and some of my brothers up there, I figured, hey, I gotta get out. I got out of Mississippi. That's why I said, hey, I'm
Just wanted to get out?
Yeah. And I started boxing again.
That's great. That's pretty cool. And who was did you find somebody down here, a school, a coach, right away?
Now, Windy City, I was going with they were saying, man, this is train there.
Where is this? At Windy City Boxing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I started going down. There was no Robinson, started paying my way to go to the gym back and forth.
Sure. Did you have a coach that was a specific coach throughout your career?
Yeah, at the time I had, who was it? It was a guy named Keith Casey who trained me.
Keith Casey?
Casey, right.
Okay.
He was the middleweight, he was Chicago middleweight champion, I think.
He was the middleweight champion?
Yeah.
Really? And he was your coach and mentor for how long?
Until I said I had about 20 fights and I got away from him.
And is there a reason that you left him, or
No,
just separated?
Just really got separated.
That happens. Growing up, when we were young, everybody knew who the heavyweight champion was. That it was just something that was newsworthy, and everybody was aware of boxing and who was currently holding a title. It's not that way anymore. Do you have any feelings on it one way or the other? Is there a way you think that we can get that back?
No, I think it's like kickboxing. That takes away from
Kickboxing?
Yeah, I think more people rather see that and see that boxing. I guess this is my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Do you think there's a way to get it back? Because now, of course, with MMA and the UFC, I don't know how you feel.
Truly, I got my grandson, he's 4 years old right now. That's going to be the next heavyweight champion. That's going to be the next champion in Chicago.
And this is your 4-year-old?
my 4-year-old grandson.
Grandson.
He's gonna be champion. I'm gonna make him champion.
Whether he like it or not, he's going to be champion. That's great. Does he box? Or
he
play?
wants to. He's got done playing for it. Yeah.
That's great. Well, then at least we know. What's his first name?
It's
Tomorrow, his grandson?
Yes.
Yvonne Taylor.
Just so we know who the name of the next heavyweight champion, the up and coming.
Yvonne Taylor.
Yvonne Taylor.
But you know,
Mark that down. Yvonne Taylor, what, maybe a decade?
Yeah, but we know,
And a half?
he got a name already, Young Joe Lewis' grandson.
Young Joe Lewis' grandson, Yvonne Taylor, in about 15 years, going to be the next heavyweight champion. Just so we know, we've all said it here first. Documented. How do you feel about combat sports, the MMA and the UFC, and what?
It's all right, but to me, they're like street fighting. You know, it's not boxing. Hey, boxing is like the days that, like George Lewis days. You know, they were real boxing.
George Lewis days?
Yeah, but now they do like a scapegoat for boxing. You take away from boxing, they kickboxing too.
You think it took away from boxing,
Yeah.
kickboxing? It is definitely a more aggressive sport, and I don't think you're the only one that feels that it's taken away from the view of boxing, but everything takes a tide for changes and stuff. Unfortunately, it's difficult because I feel, regardless of it's boxing, MMA, or whatever, that from the outside looking in, people who don't understand the sport, especially boxing and kickboxing, which we love, they see that as barbaric, and the sport is looked at as, even though it's been around for centuries, it's looked at as barbaric, and I think it's a shame because it gives athletes like yourself and so many other great boxers that have trained and poured their blood, sweat, and tears into a legitimate sport that takes a great amount of skill. It's not barbaric. It takes a great amount of skill to be a professional boxer, and we need to do something to make people more aware of what it takes to be a boxer, how to help boxers enjoy their career, how to help boxers retire and be financially set. There's been some talk about the governing boards that are out there now, some offering some help, some not offering anything at all. How do you feel about the sanctioning bodies when you were fighting? Not anytime you fought, there was nobody there to give you financial education or a retirement plan or any type of insurance, anything along those lines. How do you feel about the governing bodies out there now?
The welfare, boxing now, to me, it ain't like wars in time. We was coming over, but now they should set up for retirement for the fight they out there now, but because they're setting this, when I was boxing, they trying to put it together, they ain't put it together, but we definitely need some, time for the fight to come along now, because they're gonna be in the same state I'm in. They're gonna retire one day.
Right.
And they're gonna need something to fall back on.
Absolutely. Well, and the hope is that they can retire sooner than later, go out there, make their mark, make their money. I mean, you retired at 37? Was your last fight, I believe? You were age 37? So at that's the prime of your life. You should have been able to just sit back and enjoy what you worked so hard for all those years. 52 fights worth. So just so you know, we've got a lot of people in the Chicagoland area that are actively trying to get together all of these things that we need for fighters. More medical research, more medical checkups, doctors that
Education.
know what they're doing. You know, we need some research done on how many times a boxer really can get hit.
Oh,
Some regulations set on training, you know, a time frame or equipment you have to wear. I mean, back in your day, Muhammad Ali days, Sonny Liston days, Rocky Marciano days, they didn't even think of these things then. And they got hit in, you know, the back of the head so many times, obviously, you know, it caused a lot of damage. And I think if we get a little bit more medical research done and set some boundaries as to how long fighters can fight, get MRIs done on an annual basis at no cost to the
Right.
fighter.
right.
That way you can see where you're at, the fighter can see where he's at and if he should continue or if it's, you know.
Yeah. You know, the way I see it, in protecting the fighters, they don't do it now, but they should always make big glass. They make big glass to spy in, but they make them the pad and fight, have a fight. They should take away, you know,
The
get
8
rid of
ounce.
it and the small 8 ounce, get to the 16 ounce, go.
Right, sure, because you're practicing with 16 ounce, which is a
Right.
huge difference, and
Right.
then you get, when you're pro,
Right.
you get in the ring with 8
You
ounce
see,
gloves, and
You find more people get hurt with the 16 gloves on and spine training.
mhm,
And it should be that way, you know.
right.
Wow.
But with 8 ounce gloves,
It, people get destroyed, hurt. You know,
They do.
you can tell about me and my boys, you know. But I can feel it. I know it come from boxing, you know. It's slow, it's getting slow in speech. I won't speak right, but I get from me taking out punches, so you take away from me. You know?
did you ever have any medical MRIs done or anything?
Yeah, yeah.
And what did they say?
You know?
Really?
There's something wrong with it. You tell my speech, you know.
And this was after you retired from your fighting career? See, and that's why I think that there just needs to be so much more. I think there needs to be a foundation, a separate foundation that is doing
Yeah.
research on just the average human, how many times you can get hit or have trauma to your head and body without it affecting you long term, so that boxers can stop when they need to stop. And with that financial education, where they learn how to read a contract, they're not counting on necessarily somebody else to say,
Right.
it's okay, you know, go ahead and sign. Then they find out they get, you know, half their purse rather than their full purse. Or there's so many different ways boxers are losing their own income out there right now because they don't know how to read a contract. They don't understand it. They don't understand that people, their promoters are going to be taking a certain percentage. And
But didn't you say they took from you before, Joe?
Yeah, Noah Robinson, that time.
We don't
Uh,
put that out there.
I-
who was that?
Noah Robinson. He took. I signed a 2-year contract with him.
Okay.
But he took my contract. He forced a 10-year contract on me. And he took it out to the commission, and they called me and said, they were never used to myself as a 10-year contract.
Wait, a 10-year contract?
10-year contract. And they asked me, did I sign it? I said, no, I signed it.
You thought you were signing a 2-year contract.
Yeah.
And he changed it to 10?
10.
See, and that's right there, you know, where a good management team too comes in
Oh, okay.
and can
Yeah.
say, you know, we're right here, we've got a copy of this 2-year or whatever it might be. So were you tied to that contract for 10 years?
No, the commissioner, they got rid of it, so I ain't saying.
Good. So the commission had your back on that?
Yeah.
I would think so, being completely out of the question. Nobody ever, I've never heard of anybody signing a 10-year contract.
That's what they say.
Even the promoter, I can't see a promoter signing a 10-year contract unless he wanted control of the person and could keep him from fighting for some, you know.
Because they just didn't do that
No.
then. Now either, right?
No. I think, 3-year, I mean, pros and the guys that I represent, they go up to, it starts off at 4 rounds rather than 3, and then you go to 6 and 8. So, I mean, obviously I'm not seeing Tyson when he's renewing his contract or anything. That'd be great if I did, but at the same time I'm still seeing the people that I represent, their contracts, and they're usually 2-3-year contracts. And it's, the promoter gets usually a percentage of whatever their purse is, 3%, and then the manager will work in, or the coach will work in his percentage. But the boxer should also be very aware of who's getting what and how much and how long they're locked in for and understand it.
Right.
Is it, I mean, what year was that? I can't believe that they would try to pull a 10-year contract on you. Now, where were you at in your career? Hi.
Hey.
I'm Carrie.
That's my son.
How you doing?
Nice to meet you. This is Ron.
Hi there,
How
I'm
you
Ron.
doing?
That's
Good.
Jason.
Nice to meet you.
All right.
Jason?
He videotaped,
Oh, that's okay.
so no more.
Oh, walk
Oh, you're okay.
past.
He can go past you.
I ain't even know. I'm sorry. I'm thinking y'all talking. I ain't know y'all recording nothing.
We're getting fancy up in here. Where were you at in your career when that happened?
I was somewhere about,
You doing that downstairs again?
Somewhere else.
I was in my
Portia Roan is on the back, Portia in my room with Nikki.
15
Nikki
fights.
in my room.
So you were already, because
I
the
said
beginning of
she
your
wrong.
career from August
I thought
1st
she
of
was-
'75.
Sharon and Portia is on
I mean,
the
you
back
had
porch.
win after it was W after W after W after W. Just, you were killing it out there.
I had Don King
Well, you know.
one for Ozzy
You know
Cardio.
I haven't
You were in, I'm sorry?
What I
I
got.
said one for Ozzy Cardio.
Okay.
I found Don
What I
King.
have, $100.
You fought Don King?
No, Don King, he won, they had to fight. He
Really?
won promoted fight, yeah, Don King.
And what happened?
I guess with, truly I beat a Cardio, but they take the fight from me.
That's what you said, that's right. But this was pro.
It was trouble.
And so that was another one, did it go all 12 rounds?
Well, yeah, it went 15 rounds.
Oh, that was back in the 15 round days.
Ooh, that's a lot of running.
That's a lot, and that's another
You hit
debate that
upside the
people are
heat.
having is, should we go back to the 15 round or is 12 rounds enough? And I think 12 rounds, I cannot imagine,
Going through 15.
no, how these fighters stay upright for 12 rounds and then stand there to even hear the score. I can't imagine. So you were in the 15 round days, huh? Wow, so you fought 15 rounds with him and lost by a split
And then
decision.
time fight you do a chairman split. I mean, you won the fight, but they went for him. They went to him because he was the champion.
So you feel there was definitely favorism,
Yeah.
which I still see today. Do you watch boxing still?
Yeah, I fought Mayweather.
Mayweather?
Yeah, I watch him a lot.
Anybody in particular that you like? Mayweather, or how do you feel about Pacquiao?
I think Mayweather's better than him.
Yeah? Well, there's that big to-do that Pac and Mayweather should fight. What do you think about that?
Going with me.
Going with Mayweather. Oh my gosh.
And well, no, Don King, he's still alive.
You know, that's a good question, promoting, because that's a good question. I
I
would have
think
to look that
I
up.
think his son, I remember Carl King that was his son.
I think so, because I don't, that's a good question. I'm gonna have to check. I don't even wanna make a statement on that and have it go on air as me saying Don King is dead and have it come back at me where he's not. But I do think that there, if I'm not mistaken, there is still a promotional company under his name that either his son's running or somebody else.
Bob Aaron, he's not doing nothing.
Who is it?
Bob Aaron.
Okay.
And he runs WBC. Bob Aaron, he was promoted.
And of course, I had my, I was just telling him on the way here, I printed out the WBC, the WBO, the IBF, you know, the four major cornerstones of sanctioning bodies, who was running each one and who was on board. And I didn't bring it with me because I didn't think we'd go there, and now I feel kind of stupid that I didn't bring it with. Thanks a lot, Joe, for making me feel real stupid on camera.
No.
Do you think, in your opinion, does the business of boxing, since we're kind of talking about that, ruin or do you think it's destroyed the sport of boxing?
I don't think, well, because how you look at it, you know, if you look at it from kickboxing, I think kickboxing took over boxing. But,
I just mean like with the politics involved in boxing, like the business, with the promoters and, you know, everybody, the judges who are giving it to, in a decision, the current champion, favoritism, that business end of boxing. Do you think it's ruining the sport, or do you think that the sport is still?
I think sports is
Yeah, I do too. I don't think I mean, in any situation or any sport, there's always going to be somebody who's going to give it a bad name. But if we keep our eye out on the good ones, I think that's all that matters. Break, please. I have to go to the washroom again.
Okay, we're rolling. Much better.
I'm going to start the beginning part again, just so we're not blurry. I'm going to redo that whole beginning part, just me saying where we are. It's a little blurry, I guess. So, forgive me. This is Carrie Rydell with Boxing Report. Oh my God, Boxing Fake Scratch Cut. This is Carrie Rydell with Ringside Report, the Heart of Boxing, and I am here today with Mr. Young Joe Louis. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having us. Okay, cut. That's all I needed to redo. Who do you think out of your 52 fights you would call your toughest opponent?
the toughest, I would say we were lucky.
Yeah?
We won the toughest year. He was the toughest one.
Who did you, out of all the different fighters that you fought, who did you have the most respect for and why?
I sparred with Mike Tyson, but I had no.
You sparred with Mike Tyson?
I didn't respect Greg Page.
Greg Page?
And I just boxed with him. I respect that. He's cool. He reminded me of Ali.
Really?
Yeah. Greg was cool.
Ali's my lifetime hero.
Wow.
I had the honor of, I never thought in my life I'd have the opportunity to meet him. And actually this is before I started, just to our previous conversation on break. We were talking about how I got my start in the sport, and I remember just being a teenager watching TV, and there was a documentary on Liston and Ali and the upset with Ali knocking him out, and I was in love with the sport and the man ever since. And then the whole drama about Vietnam, like them going Islam and stuff. And when I went to Louisville 2 years ago to meet him, it was the first Muhammad Ali Humanitarian Awards in Louisville, Kentucky. He's done so many great things outside of boxing. I don't think people realize. I don't love him because he was a great boxer. He was a great boxer. Of course, I appreciate that. He talked a lot of smack. I think he was very witty and clever about the way he came at people. He never attacked people's character. It was always just more joking around and, you know, rhyming. Whereas today you see a lot of the fighters that get pretty personal, and it's bad sportsmanship. But I always thought he was an amazing man, and when I got to meet him a couple years ago, it was bittersweet because he couldn't do much. I mean, they had to bring him in a wheelchair and take him out in a wheelchair, and it was sad. It was really, really sad. But what an amazing life that man has led, and all the stories that he could tell, I'm sure. And I think it was Tyson that was actually asked, you and Ali, who would win? And Tyson said, he went on with the whole story, and it ended up where he kind of made it sound like he was saying he would have won. And so the interviewer said, oh, so you would win against Ali? He said, hell no, ain't nobody win against Ali. And I was just laughing so hard. So you and Ali in the ring, who would win?
I say Ali.
I get his props.
You know,
Right? He deserved it.
I was it was back in the late 70s. No, yeah, in the late 70s. And I was living on Drexel. I was running. The guy, he said, what you do? I told my boss, he said, you know Muhammad Ali? Straight up, he said, yeah. And I said, no. He said, he gave me a card. He said, go. He said, I'll be at the house now. Go to the house and go see him. Tell my son to order. Sure enough, I went over there. I was on the porch, all these porches. He came out, he looked at me. He said, get up, you know. He started walking. Then he held his hands up. He let me still punch his hands.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
So he sparred with you just a little bit?
Yeah. Then I said about 2 years later, I seen him again. I said, you remember me? I didn't really remember me. He said, he held his hands and stuff. He said, I remember that.
Oh, wow.
And I said, he remember.
That's a cool moment. I mean, that had to stick with you for a long time.
Yeah.
He was quite a character, from what I understand, and he lived in Chicago for
Yeah,
a while.
I was on Wood Street.
Wood Street?
In High Park. The house still there right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. So, you sparred with Tyson. He was inspirational to you. Anybody growing up, any other particular fighters that you think did a lot for the sport or encouraged you personally to keep?
I think Sugar Ray.
Sugar Ray?
Sugar Ray, he pretty good, you know. That's something I want to be like, you know. I want the way he trained. I trained I want the same way he trained.
Yeah.
I'm not cooking and beat the man to the first punch.
Did you ever get the honor of working with him?
I ain't get time to work, but I met him, you know. He come to one of my fights in Minnesota.
Yeah, he came to one of your fights in Minnesota?
Yeah, my father, Kenny Norris sparring partner.
Wow.
It was Kenny Norris fighting Scotty Duke.
Mm-hmm. That's what we were talking about earlier.
Scotty, he beat Kenny.
I noticed that you fought, and I was just curious as to if there was a rivalry there or some kind of maybe something going on between. But in your earlier career in '75, it looks like you fought Danny Davis 3 times. You got the W all 3 times. did you guys, was he wanting the rematch every time? Because it was in a short period of time. It was from 75, you fought him twice in 75 and then a third time in 77. You got the W all 3 times. Was he bugging you for a rematch?
Yeah,
or?
he won the fight.
Yeah, well, he got it, apparently,
Yeah.
3 times. Because it looks like you knocked him out twice. Right? So he was just him wanting that rematch to get back at you. Well, he got you. The real you. That's great. Last question, and I won't keep you guys as far as boxing is concerned. With your career, do you feel toward the end of your career that you were being pushed into fights that you didn't necessarily want to take?
You know, tell you the truth, when in my career, when I know that I went out to go big, to get a belt, I'll take a fight that forgot the money was there. And you know,
Because you fought that one championship heavy, and you were a cruiserweight fighter.
Yeah.
So was that your idea to go heavyweight for the championship fight, or I mean,
it was the money.
so you were just chasing the money too, yeah? And that's what we were talking about before. There's got to be a way to help fighters not have to do that, to put themselves in situations that they. Do you feel like toward the end of your career, do you feel like you should have retired earlier, or I mean, was there anybody pushing you to get into a match that you felt that you shouldn't be in?
You know, tell you the truth, I wouldn't retire, but I got shot in my left hand right here.
You got shot?
Yeah, I got shot in my left hand, shot in my hand, both my legs. And I probably stayed with boxing back if I could, kept going 30, got my hand. At one time I couldn't close my hand, I couldn't touch it.
Oh.
And they told me if I kept coming, I would have got it, I would make a fist. But when you can't make a fist in boxing, you can't fight.
Well, and you're an orthodox fighter, correct? So that's your jab hand. You need that one, not that you don't need a
I'm left-handed, is my left hand.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're southpaw?
But I don't fight southpaw.
Oh, you're left-handed, but you fight orthodox.
Yeah.
Really? So now you just threw me again. Making me look all a fool on camera again because I got you down as orthodox.
But you know, a lot of people that they always talk about when I'm fighting what they're gonna do. You know what? I always tell them. But tonight they always they look for my papa and I hit him with my jail. I bust him over my jail with my papa hand, but it took my right hand with my papa. My jail was
It switches them up.
yeah.
They don't know. And that's probably the best way to do it. My son is, he loves kickboxing, and they were both in martial arts, and he's the same way. He's lefty, but does a lot of things right-handed, and he can come at you both ways. So I love watching that when fighters just aren't anticipating.
And don't know where their power is at.
That's right, because they can't read their fighter, or their opponent, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can come at them both ways, and it's harder. In your day, there was no YouTube, so people couldn't look up your fights and just read your style. And it's the fighters today that keep their stuff off film and off of viral social media that are smart, because otherwise it's too easy to look up.
You know, with some of what I see would be if somebody can get it going, like get a fix up an old time fighter, like for the old time, that's, I'll be glad, right today, I'll be glad you got into it. But I feel I can go about 4-5 rounds now, you know, more.
That's good. So you feel.
Yeah, I feel I was hoping today that somebody would pull it out, you know, the old time, me the old time, man.
That's what you say.
That is a phenomenal idea. Like just even Chicago,
Yeah.
old timers. We're gonna keep that off film because I'm gonna steal that idea.
No, that's right.
No, because you can. That is a. I'm gonna be presenting that to my boss when I get back. That is an actual. I mean, obviously, it would be. We should do it for charity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For some kind of boxing fund to help with the medical research or.
For boxing now.
Yes.
You know, to me, you do be true for the retirement coming up to the boxing line.
Exactly, and then we can open up a fund just to leave open.
What you gonna do with that? You let us know what you do with.
Well, it was your idea, so I will present it to the right people, but it will be the Young Joe Louis Fund. The Young Joe Louis rematch in Chicago. The Young Joe. You guys are sorry. Oh, see, now you got me rolling.
My grandson will make it.
There you go.
He gonna make it.
We could bring a couple, young tykes in there and same thing. Just obviously not make it real hardcore boxing, but more fun. With all
And
the
I
old
believe
schools.
a lot of people come because there's a lot of people in our old neighborhood down here. They still know Joe when he was boxing. And I got family and cousins and friends. They know Joe when he was boxing. I didn't, but they did. And
How'd you meet
it shocked
him?
me. How did I meet him? I met him over here on 54th and Austin.
What was his pickup line?
What was it, babe? I know he was determined that I was gonna be his girlfriend. And
Aw.
he told me God brought me to him. So there was no way that I wasn't gonna be his girl, because God brought
Look at him smile.
me. That's what he told me though. And I tells my mom that.
When I first met her, she was one the guy she was born with, she was going to meet him. And they were fighting in prison. And he see me coming down the street, he said, hey man, you want to be like this, you want to be. I said, man, that's your girl, man.
Yeah.
And I walked on. You can have what you want, man. You can have her, man. You can have her.
And he was giving away something that didn't even belong to him. That was me. So,
You know.
So
These.
you're going to the fight tonight or tomorrow?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we do have to kind of conclude this. Unfortunately, like I said, I've got an hour and a half back home and then an hour out to Rockford. But I had to find out how you guys met. And how long have you been married?
we've been together for 17 years, but we've been married for 4.
That's
Doing a
it.
little-
All right, I'll jab you here.
A couple little jabs.
Cross. Oh, Lord. Are you going to take the picture? Shh. Right hand. Shh.
Yeah, left foot.
Shh. Jab. Oh, you're going to... Okay, well, my bad.
Take
Jab,
two.
left hook. Take 2, right?
There you go.
One more.
Right uppercut.
Right uppercut? Shh. How about right here?
Oh yeah, there you go.